What's up? Welcome to Knoxville Nights. We are back for episode number 10 already, guys. It's we're flying right through these things. We had a great weekend of racing. The World of Outlaws were in town. It was a 2-day show for the Premier Chevy Dealers Clash. On Friday night, we had Jay Kinder continue to dominate the Pro Sprint Series, and David Gravel, the World of Outlaws points leader, picked up the feature win. And then on Saturday, we had another first-time winner in the 360s. It was Cam Martin, and Corey Day also picked up his second straight Premier Chevy Dealers Clash feature victory after doing the same thing last year. So we had a lot of great racing. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. It's going to be a jam-packed show. And on the back end, we had a little bit of a light shortened interview with Gio Scelzi. They shut the lights off on us, so we got about close to 20 minutes where we had a good discussion with Gio after the Friday night racing. So make sure you stick around for that. We got some news that's coming as well. We might have a little bit of news today, and then we should have some news in the next few weeks that is pretty damn exciting. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. We're all over the place. You can go to at Knoxville Nights on Facebook and Instagram, at Knoxville Nights with no O on Twitter, X, and then search for Knoxville Nights on YouTube as well. You can watch along. Jump right into it, Cade. You were back in the 360 this week. You raced on Saturday night. A little bit of a roller coaster yet again. This is a theme that we've been going through here. You went out really late on a track that wasn't conducive to a lot of speed late in the qualifying session, so you ended up 14th. And that doesn't sound right. Were you 14th in qualifying?
I think I honestly don't know.
I don't remember. Well, we're going to go with it.
So, no, I think it was 12.
It was 12. That's what 12. I thought. Yeah, whoever puts these notes together, you're going to fire them.
Gave him two worse spots. Jeez.
Yeah, right.
Making me look bad.
Oh, my God.
Well, it ended up put you third in your heat race, and you looked really good. You rocketed to the front and ended up gapping the field and winning the heat race. Pulled a Dustin Selvage, got the heat race win. But then things did not go so great in the feature. You started 10th and fell back early, I think to like 17th or 18th, but you were able to get it rolling and rally back to 14th. Take us through how the night was. Like I said, it was a little bit of a weird track, and going out late in qualifying may have set you back to start, but walk us through your night.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with drawing the late pill number and just not really the track being conducive for a late qualifying effort. You and I talked in the shop before the night even started, and I just kept saying that this, like, last night was just the night that you got to get a good pill draw, and went and got my transponder, and she was like, yeah, 73 out of 75, and I'm like, shit. So we were kind of behind the 8 ball right off the bat, but qualified. Didn't really feel that great in qualifying. People were probably laughing at us. We had the car on stands after qualifying, swapping bars around, and it was definitely a giant cluster. But went back to kind of some stuff that we knew worked, and it really showed in the heat race. Got a really good start. Was able to kind of squeak around Zoot on the start, and kind of like on the first corner, just drove through the bottom and went like a lane up, and there was a bunch of moisture there that I had noticed before we got racing, and my car was good enough to stick there, and ended up getting the lead going into 3, and just kind of walked away with that. And then for the feature, we didn't change anything besides the left rear tire, and we just sucked. And I don't really feel like the track was that much slicker, honestly. Like it was pretty slick in the heat race to begin with, but I don't know what the hell we missed or what we were doing there, but it ended up going clear back like you guys said, and salvaged a decent finish for what we had going on. Definitely need to get a little bit better, like I keep saying every single week. But I got a week off, and gonna kind of go through some things and try to figure out what we can do to get better. And I think the break that we have this coming week is like a good time to relax and get away. But we're going to spend the weekend getting race cars ready and definitely trying to find some speed late in the night when the track gets super slick like that.
One thing I was curious about, and I guess I just never asked you, you guys had long breaks in between when you raced, and you made a good point about that. You put it up on stands. Was that it didn't seem like maybe that's great in a long-term thing, because then you just sit there and you're like, well, maybe we should adjust the car. I think of the pro sprint race, Jake Hinder said that for him, they waited till last second and then they were like, we should change this. And then the horn sounded and then they didn't get to change it. It didn't really matter. But was those long breaks really good for anyone? Because you just sit there and you're like, well, we might as well try something. We got time. Was that kind of your thought process in that? I know you didn't change anything after the heat race, but before that, you were like, well, we got the time. We might as well just take every swing we can at it.
Yeah, for sure. Normally we have no time between we qualify.
And then it's right into heat races.
Yeah, they have the pro sprint heats, which was only 2 of them, and then we go out and heat race again. So there's no time to really change anything, honestly. You got time to put a different tire on it, and if you're going to change a gear, change a gear. And it was definitely a good night for me to have that break between qualifying and the heat race, because like I said, we took a big swing at it, and it looked like we were doing parking lot maintenance down in the pit area. But yeah, I think that was good. And then normally, like, we change way too much stuff to begin with from the heat race to the feature, and it was kind of hard to sit there and just like look at it and we're not going to change it because it was really good and we don't want to mess it up. But I guess we should have changed some stuff. We were terrible.
Because you can be your own worst enemy, I'm sure, like in those long breaks. And it probably is a little bit of a throwback to your pro sprint days when sometimes you guys are shuffled around in the running order for the program. But yeah, get to second guessing or third guessing things. And yeah, I can see where that can really screw with guys.
What was it like with all the 1,000 KCP people on the backstretch just looking at your every move? Because you were parked right there looking at me. When I was thinking about that, I was like, that really, you don't have that, because we don't have people on the backstretch for 360 Nationals or anything. I just thought that was funny that everybody could see right there. But
yeah, it was nice to have the backstretch PA on too. I could hear you guys talking, and it was a lot cooler than the normal weekend.
I don't think that was, so you texted me that it wasn't working. I don't think it was turned on. Which,
no,
you'd think maybe somebody would say, hey, we got a lot of people coming, we should probably turn that on. But yeah, we got that fixed.
Yeah, I had people texting me to text you that it wasn't working.
No, trust me, I got plenty of messages. Yeah, we can't hear anything back here. But really cool. Gio Scelzi had over 1,000 employees with KCP there. They had like inflatables back there for like kids. They had them up on the suite tower. That's how you do sponsorship stuff.
Absolutely.
That's Iowa Lottery
awesome.
Had a bunch of people here on Friday. Unfortunately, I saw Brian Brown flip, which is rare. But yeah, Josh, I mean, that's amazing. If we can keep doing that, and Vermeer has done that, we've had people on the backstretch on weekly nights as well. It's perfect. Knoxville does such a good job accommodating to those people.
They definitely do. And, it's easy to lose track of the scale of those grandstands also, because I saw some stuff on socials on Friday where it's like, oh, I thought there'd be more people there. You have to remember, like, that facility can hold what, like 22,000 people on the front.
13,000 people.
Right. So if they're half full, that's still 6,500 people, which I think it was at least that on Friday. And the crowd was great on Saturday with the front and back stretch. It was awesome to see that. And it's cool with the KCP team, being based kind of in central Iowa and having a lot of partners that are from this area, getting them to the racetrack. That's how you make new fans.
And it's tale as old as time. People look at the front stretch in the middle of the night, like it's dark, you can't see anything.
Right.
There are so many people that sit underneath the grandstands, and people don't believe you when you say that, but people sit in troves underneath there, because that's technically where the ticketed part is. Like, that's not
reserved seats.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people sit up there because of the sun during the afternoon. So yeah, it was a great crowd. That kind of will lead us into what we're talking about. But overall, there were moments on Saturday night where I'm like, man, this kind of feels like Nationals. Like, it just kind of felt like, or a Capitani Classic. Like, there was stuff going on the backstretch. There were people walking around. There were so many people below underneath the grandstands. Tony and I did our pre-race show on Facebook Live underneath the grandstands, and there were so many people.
You could hear the crowd reactions throughout the night in the infield also, and when you can hear that, you know that it's a good sized crowd.
Yeah.
It's a good testament, and it's a good show of, all right, who's got bigger fan bases? Like, Gravel was getting booed, and like Corey Day was getting crazy reactions when they announced Reitzel got penalized 2 spots during his Friday night because he jumped the restart. Everybody was going crazy, and yeah, it's just crazy. Awesome, really cool to see that. Our Saturday night show kind of moved along fast in the interest of time with rain. I didn't really agree with it, but the Outlaws, they don't take chances. They want to get the show done. But the rain, it never rained in Knoxville. Like, it just died out all night before it even got here. So they skipped heat race interviews, they skipped the dash draw, and they just kind of moved stuff along. I love that part of the night. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes the night a little bit longer, but I still felt like even when we did 3-car qualifying, the night still moved just fine. And that's what makes some of those Outlaw events cool. The dash is cool to talk to those drivers and whatnot. The heat race interviews are fun, but I get it. But it was just like, kind of
kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. The radar looked nasty early on, and I think we've really just had a good stretch where anytime rain has really threatened it has just split Knoxville. Which hopefully we can keep that that going this year.
Right, Cade? Vortex theory.
Yeah, I guess.
Gas from those stars goes up in the clouds and it says no. That's how it works, right?
I guess.
Oh, jeez. We better get into the racing. We're on it tonight.
We need to get Darrell Waltrip on. He was the first one to ever bring that up in NASCAR. That was just funny. But
oh, jeez.
We did have pro sprints on Friday night. Again, Friday and Saturday shows 360 and pro sprints. It was just owners points drivers, so just the guys that were top 25, 20 in points. Want to give our thoughts out to Chase Young. He was our winner last week in the pro sprints. Good to see his 2-week-old on stage. His family was up there. He was burned this past week with chemical burns. He was airlifted to the Iowa City Burn Center, one of the best in the country, and he was taken care of. He had videos. There was a picture of him afterwards. Looked like he was in good spirits. I think Chase is a pretty tough guy, and I think he'll recover from this well, but just burned underneath his whole arm, and it's nasty. I mean, they put pictures of the burns if you want to really see that.
It's graphic, yeah. Yeah,
it is graphic, but we don't know how long it'll be. He was second in points, which just really sucks. I mean, and he was starting to get things rolling, and unfortunately was not here this weekend. And we wish Chase the best because you just hate to see that, especially anyone. But Chase had a good year going.
Yeah, it's scary stuff too. I've never had chemical burns like that, but I know people that have, and it's not any sort of good. So yeah, definitely sending our thoughts out to Chase. Super scary. Never want to see that for anybody. But yeah, like you said, he had a pretty good year going and was definitely starting to get rolling. So it sucks to see him have to sit out. But it sounded like it was only going to be a couple weeks. So hopefully they get him.
Yeah, got the week off, and
hopefully he gets doctored up and gets back to racing.
Yeah, and ultimately, the racing is second. It was great to see the news that he went home whenever that was posted. I think it may have even been Friday. So yeah, especially with the little one at home. Family comes first, and yeah, good to see that he's on the mend.
Still fourth in points, and we'll talk about the points battle for second through fifth. He's still quite in it.
For sure.
Yeah, so we'll hope for the best. Jake Kinder wins again. 3 wins this season for Jake Kinder. He's getting up there in the all-time wins list, I think up to 12, I believe. The all-time winning is 17 with Matthew Stelzer. So, I mean, it's very possible. You knew the night was probably over when he went from 6th to 1st in his heat race. Unbelievable.
And started on the pole.
Yeah, and they drew the invert of 0, so that kind of helped him out. I think even if he didn't draw the 0, I think he was going to be just fine. Yeah, had no competition. I mean, just blew through the field. Devin Klein, it was his birthday on Friday. I was really hoping he could maybe pull it off because I think that'd be really cool to win on your birthday. But Devin just proves that, I mean, if he raced here every week, he would be right there. I mean, very good. Matthew Stelzer made a late run and was catching Jake Kinder, just couldn't quite get there. Jake Kinder wins again. And anytime he gets out of the car, it's still this, I think I can make it better. I think we can be better.
Sounds like a racer.
Yeah, just really cool. So now, 45 career Pro Series wins on the podium. Kinder is now 5 away from tying Stelzer for the most at 17, and then there's 5 left. So, man, 5 Pro Series races.
We got pretty close to having the top 3 in wins on the podium, and if Kinder keeps this streak going, that's going to be the case. And he technically can tie it if we get all those shows in. He could tie Stelzer in career Pro Sprint Series victories. So that could something we'll be watching.
Yeah, it makes me smile that we went back to Cade's house on Saturday night after the race and we were watching Cade's highlights, basking in the glory days at this point.
Little baby
back when I didn't suck.
When Cade used to win. And Jay was in that yellow 88 and obviously won the title in 2014. And it's just,
Stelzer in the 99.
and clearly pro sprint schemes don't change over the years. Everybody's in the same paint scheme, but that was really cool.
And Devin's just rolling in on the open trailer and
Crazy.
fighting for wins. It's cool. Feels like a throwback with when you see stuff like that.
Brett Moffitt was better. You could see a little bit of slight improvement, but I think engine issue late. I'm gonna have to ask him about it. But he pulled in. He was running fine, and then an engine something broke or something. Which that's a new engine. That's a 2-week-old engine. So you're gonna hope it's nothing too crazy. He got such a good pop from the crowd when I don't think people realized he was there. And then I announced Brett Moffitt, and the whole crowd went crazy. So I don't think people realized that it was Brett Moffitt. But then when they had it, it was pretty cool. Josh, you put in here that the points battle is insane from second on back. Tyler Thompson is now second in points, 438 back. Luke Lane just keeps chipping away. He's now 489 back in third. Chase Young is 492 back in fourth. And Brody Johnson still finished top 10 this week, but a little bit off, is 499 back. So, I mean, it's going to be a fun one. And that top 3 is pretty fun because when you go to the banquet, that's a whole big thing. So we got stuff to watch here. I mean, yes, Jay pretty much has it locked up, but second on back is really good.
Yeah, it's crazy. Delay there, tape delay. It's crazy how close everybody is, and then you got Kinder that's just that far ahead of everybody. He's just putting together one hell of a year.
Yeah, it's super impressive. It's only 61 points from second to fifth. So yeah, that like you said, Kinder's gone, but yeah, keep an eye on that. And like you said too, Luke was knocking on the door of that podium finish and has been really consistent himself. So yeah, fun stuff.
I was trying to pull up the radar. I hear thunder in the background on mine, and then I didn't know if you guys heard it too. I was like,
if Blake goes dark, then we know that the storm.
Well,
is
we
there.
need rain, so that's what we need. Our Randall Roofing 360 sprint cars were in action on Saturday night. 25 cars, which makes sense. I think it was Cade. Was it always just top 25 in points? It wasn't just owner points, was it? Weren't they just gonna take the top 25 in points?
I don't know, because we saw the thing on the email that it was like, I think it was like top 29 or something.
Yeah, which there are 29 points cars, all the way back to Cam Sorrells. Cam Sorrells is technically counted as that, but I wasn't sure. But 25 cars. They tilled the track on the bottom of the racetrack at the end of the 410 feature, so they knocked down the cushion for the 410 feature. And then I thought the track was fine, personally. I know they were worried about rubber, and they know that in their mind, the points battle is good. You don't want to just give you a rubbered up racetrack. So they took the fancy new tilling machine, which is cool. It did its job, and it did it really well. It tilled the bottom, and it kind of made the bottom way too good. The top just really never came in. And Cade, what were your thoughts on that whole thing? Obviously in the back, and I was talking to Tony Rossi, the same thing. He's like, we couldn't pass. I mean, you're just stuck and you're waiting for somebody like Dustin Selvage, who literally just waited and got around guys. But explain that whole track prep thing and what it kind of did to the racetrack.
Yeah, we definitely thought it was going to blow off right away, and it sure didn't. I mean, it was there, and it was there to stay. And it's really tough to even point a finger at the track prep crew because they tried something they've never tried before.
I'm not going after the Duncans.
No, not at all. I don't think anybody in their right mind would. But, yeah, they definitely know like what that maintainer does now. I was talking to one of the guys that works on the track prep crew, and he had mentioned that they hadn't used it on a race night yet. So definitely trial and error. But yeah, it definitely stayed a lot longer than I expected it to.
And in his Victory Lane interview, I heard later that Corey even said that it was starting to take rubber, like a left rear rubber. So in their feature sub, maybe again that kind of went into it.
Most of the night, so that's
yeah.
And didn't they knock the top down before the 360 race too?
They did.
Yeah. So and they said they weren't going to. So maybe it's good in hindsight. Maybe they got out there and saw the rubber just a little bit and were like, okay, we need to do it once, but.
And it hurt. It definitely seemed to hurt that outside line. Like, hey, I know that you just couldn't get anything going. And I think Tony also was in the outside line also.
Goodnow kept trying. Garner kept trying. There was just nothing up there.
I kept trying.
Which going back the last few weeks when they have kind of knocked the curb down, it did really get the top going for a while. And we even saw that in the 410 feature. So, it's dirt racing, Things don't always work out the way you think that they will. You learn from it just like the race teams do. And now that's in the memory bank for the track prep next time they go to do something like that.
I showed the tweet to Josh, but Matt Duncan does not tweet very often. He's not really a man on social media. And after that 410 feature, for good reason, he tweeted out, it says Knoxville with the flame emoji. So, it's a good, Matt Duncan's happy when it's like, yeah, that's our track service. They should be very happy. Those two 410 races we'll obviously talk about later, but man, they were so good.
Track's been great all year. We keep saying it. When it was
one
cold
night it
and
rubbered
wet,
in, but other than that, they learned.
Yeah, when it was cold and wet early on, you can't really do much about that. But yeah, we've gotten bangers pretty much every week.
Dustin Selvage was our biggest mover, 13th to 7th. He won his 79th heat race of the season earlier. I mentioned it to Dennis driving by, and he's like, yeah. Dennis loves it. Keep an eye on Dustin. They're figuring stuff out slowly but surely, and to be able to move like that, especially on a bottom dominant track, really happy for Dustin Selvage. Riley Goodnow goes from 9th to 5th. And other than that, pretty much everyone stayed the same. The story of the night was Cam Martin. Cam Martin picks up his first career win at Knoxville, and he was perfect. He started on the front row, was challenged by Clint Garner early, but Clint never went to the bottom. Cam stayed on the bottom, did not miss it, worked right back around the 40. Had to get to lap traffic a couple times, but he really wasn't phased. And, we saw him last year, Cade, get a win on a rubbered up track at Jackson, but he had to hold off Aaron Reitzel to do it. I don't think people truly realize how good of a race car driver Cam Martin is, and I think he finally knocked the monkey off his back to win it at Knoxville, and I'm happy for him. He was so pumped for good reason, but it's good to see guys like Cam Martin in victory lane.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, he'd never once made a mistake that entire race, and that's really tough to do running the bottom. I know we kind of talked about it, and it was a little bit easier to run, but still, when you got Garner driving by you and you don't even try to go to the top, you just make yourself stick the bottom. That's tough to do mentally, and hell of a job to Cam, and super cool to see him get that first one.
Yeah, you got a 360 Nationals champion, a multi-time Knoxville Raceway champion. How many? I think he's in the top 5 in all-time wins, and like you said, he never messed up, and
No.
It never gets old. We've had a couple first-time winners now with Tyler Gronendijk also earlier this year, and just the emotion in victory lane is so cool. It never gets old. So big congrats to Cam and his entire team.
He's never not smiling. He could
sure.
wreck, and he'll come up the next day, and he's just happy. And I'm happy for him. He's getting more comfortable in a 410. He ran double duty on Friday night. But, yeah, so happy for Cam Martin in his first career win. And
rebounded from that big crash. I can't remember if it was in the 360 or 410, but, yeah, he took a heck of a ride down the front stretch.
It was 360.
Or turn 1 or whatever. And he rebounded from that. It's good.
Thoughts are that he could be right there in the points battle. He's 6th in points, but he probably would have been right here with that top 5 if he didn't wreck that 1 week. So, great win for Cam. He joins Tyler Gronendijk as a first-time winner in the 360s this year. I think at this point, in terms of the guys that have been competitive, it wouldn't be a first-time in, but we're waiting on Ryan Giles. I think that's really the last one who has been competitive this year that we're like, okay, come on, Ryan, let's get it. I'm excited. We didn't put it in here, but I just wanted to mention the Verville 01 was not there this week. Obviously, they parted ways with Thomas Meserol. Kerry Madsen jumps in the car. I hope they're not done at Knoxville. I don't think they would be, but it's also possible that they kind of Kerry will be the guy that's in it for the rest of the year, and they didn't really want to push Kerry to do double duty on Outlaws nights. You don't know the whole story, and if they come back, we'll talk to them. But I just thought I'd mention that. That's a fun car. That's a good car. Very good car.
Yeah. And they were kind of patient with Timez, and it sounded like that was going to be the case, but then miscommunication, whatever the deal was there, ended up falling apart. And unfortunately, they're one of those teams I don't think is very active on socials. So it's kind of we'll wait and see what happens next Saturday and go from there. Yeah.
I don't know. Clint Garner cut into Tasker's points lead by 16 points, now down to 209, something like that. So he's there. He's closing in. And then it's a little bit farther of a gap back to Gronendijk, Giles, and Ball. But keep an eye out, man. You just don't know what's going to happen. But Tasker looking good as of right now. All right, boys. World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. We're here for 2 days. Premier Chevy Dealers Clash. We think about it. In general, it was just deja vu of last year with Gravel and Day winning. But Friday night started out. Tyler Courtney goes quick time in his group. That was really good. And I think winning and being here the previous week paid off big for the 7BC. really good speed out of the gate. And then Ryan Timms also went quick time. Tough nights, tough couple nights for Cole Macedo, Connor Morrell, Chris Wyndham had a weekend to forget. And then Skylar G were all in non-qualifier races. You really see, Cade, when they get here, and those non-qualifier races are here. You know, Donnie was in one back in April. He's been in one before. This place will humble you real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see guys that we kind of talked about it off air before, but you see guys like Wyndham that have been kind of like putting some heater streaks together and show up to Knoxville, and it's just a whole different ball game. And I say it to everybody that asks me, it's like, isn't Knoxville easy? And it's one of the hardest places in the world to race. And if you ask any of these guys that you just mentioned, they'll tell you the exact same thing.
I mean, we saw it on both nights. Guys that have won there and have been running really well there this year. We're in non-qualifiers. Like, you know, Scott Boguski has been really good there this year, and he ended up in a non-qualifier on Saturday. And I'm trying to go back and look and see on Friday night because feels like it's been forever ago now. But like,
I know Scott struggled, and it just wasn't Scott Boguski.
I think Chase was in one as well. So
yeah, Chase Randall was buried back there.
Donnie avoided the non-qualifiers in both nights, which
he did. Not by much, but he did.
That's a terrible fact that I know that he is not probably proud of. But like, I think it was two of the last three Outlaw events, he had to run them because of how poorly they qualified. So, yeah.
And again, if it wasn't for those scales,
yeah, exactly.
That would have been 4 out of 5.
It's
it would have been all 3 in a row.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It was almost. I had a couple people actually texting me about the fields and being like, it's almost had the feel of a like mini Cappy, where it's like,
that's what we kept saying.
Yep. Yeah, it was great.
That and a prelim night felt like a prelim night, and that's, I think Rico said it. He's like, these are prelim nights. He's like, this is the point where it doesn't diminish the April show, but you're like, June, you better have it right, because most likely a lot of those guys aren't coming back till nationals, until the Cappy.
And we're getting into the big money stuff, and it starts now. So
absolutely. Yeah. Heat number 1 saw a lot of action. Tyler Courtney was the one who got away with it, but Garrett Williamson, Brad Sweet, and David Gravel had a duel. Garrett qualified 3rd in his group, really strong. Garrett was good this week. I think, obviously they want to be better, but Garrett was really good this week. Garrett tried all he could to hold off Brad Sweet and David Gravel. Garrett and Brad had a little bit of contact going down the back straightaway, going into turns 3. David Gravel was able to sneak on by both of them. David parked it at the heat race interview with Connor Wade and said that Brad Sweet is still door banging people like he did he said Sawyer Phillips, but he meant Tasker Phillips. So we had our Outlaw champion throwing shade at our high limit / previous Outlaw champion. I just wanted your thoughts on that, guys. I mean, Gravel, he speaks his mind, and I think it's good. It's what we need and everything else, but he was not holding back when talking about Brad Sweet. And Garrett has had issues the last couple weeks, and I'm sure he'd tell you that too. He has gotten into a couple guys, a little bit of contact, but could have been way worse. But yeah, they were racing hard. No doubt about that.
Curious about your opinion, Cade. I personally didn't necessarily feel a lot of tension down there. I may not have been in the right places at the right time, but from what I've heard, there has been some shit talking, especially the last few weeks when High Limit and the Outlaws have been racing a lot more together. And that heat race, those battles were insane in that one specifically. Probably the heat race of the weekend, honestly. And I love it when it's a little spicy. Get some rivalries going between the 2 series. I love it. What do you think, Cade?
It's a bunch of drama is all it is. It definitely makes it interesting though, especially when you get a little smack talk in the heat race interviews. Yeah, definitely. Like, it was just that entire heat race was just bumper cars, it seemed like. I'm pretty sure Gravel and Sweet made contact at one point too.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
Turn 4. Gravel posted on social media.
Yeah,
like, we're touching toes.
Yep. Yeah, I was like, if you want to play bumper cars, that's fine, but go to a amusement park and do it in something that doesn't cost a couple $100,000.
With some high stake bumper cars right there.
Yeah.
It's good. I think it's good for the sport. You know, as much as people can argue with it, it's good that we have this because the fans love it. And at the end of the day, you're an entertainment business in a way. So it's like fans love it. And JJ Hickle also put it in the show in that heat race. Very happy for JJ. I know Moro was probably thrilled about that. So that was really cool. Heat number 2 saw one of the bigger storylines of the night. First off, the inside row really didn't go on the restart. Aaron Reitzel, who started in the 4th position, was able to jump down and take second away. And then he was sliding up. Bill Baylog, who had started first or second, I can't remember. He was up there, and then Brian Brown kind of sneaks his way through the middle. I don't think it was a bad move. I mean, Brownie said in his interview on Saturday night, because his interview on Friday night, he didn't really say much. He said, we got to go. I mean, it's an outlaw heat race. You have to get there. And Brownie just, I don't think he forced the issue, but he got up over the right rear tire of Aaron Reitzel and then just takes a hard lick. Spins off of Bill Baylog, goes into the fence over in turn number 2, and was pretty shaken up. I mean, he didn't sound like Brian Brown after that heat race. Went to the hospital, got his ankle checked out. It was quite swollen, I was told, after the wreck, and then was able to come back Saturday. But a rare mistake for Brian Brown. To my knowledge, first flip for Brownie since the 2022 Nationals. Thoughts on that one, guys?
That was a scary crash, and it was honestly just like wrong place, wrong time kind of thing. I also don't agree with sending Reitzel back for that start because, like you said, the inside row didn't really go. It wasn't like Reitzel jumped out of line and like drove around the outside of everybody early. He just got a really good start, and his stuff honestly just took off better than the other guys' did. But yeah, like it's hard to say because if Brown was like trying to slide Baylog, it definitely wasn't going to clear anyway.
It wasn't there. Yeah.
No. But I feel like Brown was just trying to like hang below Baylog and try to keep his momentum up going into 3. And then like once Reitzel was coming across and he knew he was going to hit him, he kind of had no choice.
I think Brown said Reitzel he slid up. I mean, it wasn't anything purposely, but Reitzel threw it into turn 1. So he was going to slide up anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, could Brownie have lifted? Probably. But again, like he said, it's a heat race and you're trying to get spots. I mean, he's trying to put it in the dash, and I know he has a lot of pressure because it's Knoxville. And Josh, I feel like, you just, I don't know. It could have been a race.
And if you lift there, you're in the middle of the slick, so you're screwed at that point. So like, it's tough. And I don't even think there was like any malice or anything, between those two either. Cause I saw them on Saturday night. I think probably even discussing that just with the hand motions I saw. So, just kind of, like you said, I think Cade, wrong place, wrong time, just the way things, basically. Yeah. Okay.
When drivers do that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was walking by and it looked just like that. And what the scary, and we've seen a few of these this year, and it makes me shudder every time. But when you see somebody get over a right rear and they're head on into the fence, like I don't think he caught it head on, which was great. Dirt Co. Media House had like a ground level video of it. That shit's scary, man. Anytime you start helicoptering and get hit while you're doing that, that car was absolutely destroyed. We had a picture of it on our socials, and really happy that he was able to, he kind of limped away. It didn't really walk away. But seeing him back at the track, and he had a good night on Saturday. So hopefully there's no long-term effects there.
And unfortunately, Cade, like those type of wrecks going over the right rear, it's not like something we can fix. There's no fixing it. I mean, that's just
part of open wheel racing.
Yeah, that's open wheel racing. And I mean, you're faster into the wall than you are when you hit the tire. Unfortunately, that's just how physics work. So it's just not ideal.
Yeah, and especially the way he hit it and kind of helicoptered down. I've done one like that before, and that shit hurts.
Yeah. If Baylog wasn't there, I think it could have been bigger, realistically.
Absolutely.
Baylog kind of caught him and was spinning him back toward the fence. So,
because Baylog's top wing kind of took some of that, slowed him down a little bit. Yeah.
It stinks. And people were sad for Bill because he was just wrong place, wrong time. Just kind of one of those things.
Tough luck for Bill this weekend in both nights.
Yeah, and if I was Bill, though, and we have takeaways later, but I didn't throw it in there, but I was impressed with Bill Baylog.
Same.
I mean, his qualifying, he got good pill draws, and that matters. But he made his first nationals last year, and everyone's like, okay, cool. It's not a fluke. I mean, they got good speed here and competed for the dash, win with Brad Sweet. I was very impressed. And if I'm Bill Baylog, yes, the week kind of stunk in terms of just where you finished, but he's got to be happy with the speed he had.
And he had speed at Volusia and just shit luck there also. So like his half mile program is pretty good.
You want to know how popular Bill Baylog is in Wisconsin? Sorry, Kate. I just throw
No,
it
you're
out here
good.
real quick.
I
I
was
went to go and
Try
get.
not to cough.
I went to go get a T-shirt of his black and gold shirt, and she was like, "We're sold out of pretty much everything." She's like, "We're restocking and then going to Houston's." But like, obviously, they were just in that Wisconsin swing. But Bill is a very popular driver, and got a lot of cheers for good reason. I love Bill Baylog. I'd love to have him on our show here eventually, but just really cool to see that. From a man from North Pole, Alaska, we go all the way to Gympie, Queensland. Jai Corbett fends off Zach Campton in a photo finish in Heat 3 to make the show. What a story. What a story in the Eikenberry 25. Wade had a great video. I hope he posts it. Wade, down in Australia, was with Jai's father, and they were watching the race, like it looked like a boardroom. And Jai's dad was fired up. I mean, Wade was fired up, and they're just fist pumping and everything like that. Such a cool moment for Jai Corbett to put it in the feature. And while they didn't qualify, he was stuck in a non-qualifier on Saturday night. He also made a good run to try to get up through the races there through the alphabet soup.
We talked about it, Cade. He looked really damn good. He was really getting around there well on Saturday or on Friday night.
Yeah, and it's impressive how fast he's been at Knoxville in his first time here. A lot of times, like you see it from California and Australia, they don't really have big tracks like Knoxville. So they typically really struggle here and turn the wheel way too much. And he's like damn near got his elbows inside of his seat and just not turning the steering wheel. It's crazy.
And when he was in the feature, he was not scared to rip the lip and
Not
got
at
a
all.
little bit, was ripping it a little bit too much a few different times that I saw. But yeah, super impressive. He's a shoe, it seems like.
It's awesome. Really cool to see that for Jai Corbett. They knocked down the cushion. The cushion was getting a little tall. I think it was the right idea for Friday. Kerry Madsen started on the front row of the feature, and I thought we were going to see it, boys. I thought for sure Kerry Madsen was going to get it done. He had a insane slider on Giovanni Scelzi. I mean, like,
Yes.
Gio, the World of Outlaws put a GoPro in Gio's car, and Ross Weiss posted it. Gio lifted, but boy, Kerry threw a slider from way out and was able to get on it. David Gravel, though, was a man on a mission. Came from 8th. That was the farthest anyone's come back this decade, dating back to when Larson did it. Larson came from 9th, but nobody comes from that deep at Knoxville.
Wild.
So very impressive by David Gravel. And then Kerry got to lap traffic, and Emerson Axum was running kind of the top of the racetrack. And Kerry said in victory lane 2, he just misjudged. He went low way too early and just missed the slider, and that's when David Gravel pounced. But boy, Kerry put on a show. I'm wearing my Kerry Madsen shirt for a reason. I bought a Kerry Madsen shirt this weekend for a reason. The Madman's putting on shows.
Yeah, absolutely. And we kind of talk about it like we can't wait till he gets back to Kerry fashion. And he was definitely he was fully in Kerry fashion on Friday. It was awesome to watch.
We're just waiting for a win. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, the dude has been on a streak. We've been talking about it. Like we're aware of it. And we're trying to spread the gospel here, but I'm going back and just double checking my work here. Since May 9th, Kerry has not finished worse than 7th. Except for one time when he crashed at Knoxville. That's the only time. And he has not finished worse than 7th. It's like the dude is back. If you're questioning if the Madman can still wheel it, he can still wheel it.
That's not just local shows. He went to Eagle. He's been High Limit, Outlaws. I mean, he is there.
Yep.
And
that's three podiums with a combination of High Limit or the Outlaws in the last week and a half.
It's like Ryan Giles. The win's coming. It's right there, and it's just a matter of time. David Gravel, boys, unreal. I mean, like, kind of wasn't really pedestrian back in April, but like has shown good speed at Knoxville. He averages about a win per year at Knoxville, just in general. That thing was hooked up. I mean, like, absolutely hooked up. He was running the top. He could get to the bottom wherever he wanted, and easily ran away. Gravel's insane.
He's back to his normal speed again, it seems like.
Yeah.
Well, what's scary if you look at it, I mean, the car just looks fast, and when the car just looks like it's carrying speed, you know that they're really rolling.
So stable.
The scariest part is it really, to me, mirrors the 57, where they were getting better throughout that entire race. And he was at his best at the very end. And when you think about when it comes to nationals time with basically the 225 lap races, that's key. And we've already seen him run from damn near dead last and almost get to it.
Last second.
Yeah. He is going to be probably one of the most popular picks outside of Larson for the nationals.
Easily. So a good win for David Gravel. Obviously, Kerry Madsen coming up just short. Still really cool to see. On Saturday, Austin McCarl was able to grab quick time. I called it in the booth beforehand. I was telling people, I'm like, he had like third or fourth highest pill draw or lowest pill draw. I'm like, McCarl's going to go quick time. They've just had so much speed this past season. So good for Austin McCarl to pick up quick time. Brad Sweet also went quick time. That really set Brad Sweet's night up to go early like that. Austin, unfortunately, just really fell back in the heat race, kind of set him behind. He ended up 13th, but still not bad for the big unit. Cole Meinzer really took a bad tumble in the D main. We really didn't see what started it. Like, Tony was really trying to check the replay to see if something broke, but really bad flip going into turn one, and he was kind of shaken up afterwards.
Yeah, that was scary as hell.
I heard it. It was we had some scary ones this weekend, and he's a young kid and is learning and has really improved from the last couple of years and has looked a lot better than what we've seen. And I think he's won a couple of heat races and been racing with. I remember one specifically racing with Goodnow, and that thing was destroyed as well. And insane driving by Chris Wyndham to avoid him. And I think Gage Polkerbeck also did a really good job because he was just, he slammed the fence, but then was almost on the bottom of the track once he got done flipping. And those guys did a hell of a job because you're in such a vulnerable position there. And seeing him walk back to the pit area, like you said, Blake, he was definitely shaken up, but you can replace race cars.
Yeah, and I think one of the scariest things about crashing at Knoxville or like big tracks at all is not actually crashing. It's getting hit by somebody while you're crashing. Like the flips don't really seem like they're that scary until you're in the car and you know that there's however many guys behind you wide open going 120.
At the fastest part of the track,
exactly.
Right on entry.
Yeah, that was super scary. Glad to see him be okay after that.
B main was quite loaded. We had a lot of really good cars in the B main after a couple guys were able to sneak through the heat races. The big story there, and I guess it was kind of feel good for what happened the night before, but Brian Brown was 10th on a restart. I think, he was 10th coming to the orange cone on the front straightaway. And then by turn one, he was in third. Everybody, I think Baston and a couple guys got together down at the bottom of the racetrack. Schurenberg could have stopped the whole thing or Brownie getting there, but Schurenberg pulled down and Brown, he just went wide. And he said afterwards to Connor Wade, he's like, well, I kind of knew something was going to happen. So he just went wide and was able to get back down the track and he ended up in fourth. Brian needed that. The car, he even said himself, the car wasn't good. And he probably wouldn't have made it anyway if he didn't make that move, but it was a good feel-good moment after what had happened on Friday night, and they got the crowd going.
Okay, explain just the restart rule because socials were blowing up like normal. Whenever something goes like that, that's considered a jump start. But kind of walk through how a restart like that works. With leaders going versus the guys in the back of the pack.
If I'm not mistaken, there wasn't a cone, correct? On the front stretch,
it was double file.
Normal double restart.
Okay. Yeah, so double file. When the leader goes, you can go. If anybody has,
if you're wrecking behind.
Yeah. If anybody has any questions about that, they can go watch Jared Buckaloo's video of Brad Sweet and TK at Houston's a couple of years ago on his Ascent Media page. TK explains it in very to the point context.
Yes.
Gosh, that's such a good video.
That is racetrack gold.
Yeah,
it's one of the best under red videos we have ever seen. It was wild. And I didn't think anything of it when it happened. I was like, cool. They were wrecking. They weren't wrecking, but there was contact. They got stuck. Brian passed him on the outside. It wasn't like he jumped it. Everybody was just so slow, and Brian didn't hit anybody. So
it's kind of like Gio said to us with the high limit deal with the choose cone. Like he knew the rule. He was like, okay, that's right. That's right. Okay. Brian knew it because he's
Gio,
been racing here for a million years and
yeah,
he took advantage of it.
that's a teaser. Gio had a great story about his high limit win, the first ever high limit race. He has a really good story about that, so stick around for that. Ryan Timms and Brad Sweet battled for nearly half the race. Really strong showing by Ryan Timms. Brad Sweet started on the front row, led the first, I think, 8 laps or so, but just kind of faded back. And Ryan Timms was there. Good to see that from the Lee Big Ten. They kind of faded on Friday night, and you're like, dang. But good qualifying and whatnot. They have to be happy with what they got. Obviously, I think, Cade, they want a little bit more, but clearly they got speed and they were able to hang with these guys. And I think maybe a couple other adjustments, maybe a couple car things and driver things, Tim's would have been right there.
Yeah, that was a hell of a rebound from Friday, like you mentioned. I was kind of shocked at, I wouldn't really call it the lack of speed, but the struggle that they had on Friday. Cool to see him rebound Saturday, and yeah, he drove a hell of a night Saturday, honestly. And it's really tough mentally to rebound from struggling the night before, and you kind of putting yourself back together throughout the day on Saturday, and he did that really well.
And if you missed it, we talked to him last week. So check out our last episode because it really kind of, his weekend was really encapsulated in some of the stuff we talked about, going back, and the results that he had Saturday night definitely do not show what the kind of performance that he put on, because I went back and watched the feature today, and the race they ran from it was up until lap 12. Him and Sweet were just neck and neck. And
yeah.
You talked about the Madsen slider on Gio. Well, Tim's had one of those on Brad, and it was just like, damn. And then you'd think that maybe Brad got away from him, and he just cut it down just like you did in your heat race, Cade, and grab that grip strip down out of turn 2 and launch and throw a slider. We had some great racing, and he also talked with us, Cade, about kind of feeling like he was there with those top tier teams performance wise, and I think he showed it. It's just getting that little bit extra to finish the way he was racing.
Yeah, and they were just a little bit off on Friday. Like they didn't really have that speed they had been having, and right. They definitely brought it back and showed really good speed on Saturday.
They sure did.
But in some of these local guys, to be off and still be top 15 speed roughly
right.
in a World of Outlaws feature with 64 cars, in retrospect, in hindsight, you're like, okay, we're still pretty good. But for them, it's good that they should be thinking, we got to be better. I mean, we can be better. So, yeah, really good run by Ryan Timms. Buddy Kofoid, after winning the Eagle Nationals, everyone's like, okay, how does this translate here when we go to such a small bull ring, then we go up to a half mile? Kofoid had a wild 3-wide move coming off of turn 2. He caught a little bit of grip off the bottom of turn 2 and got past Timms and Sweet. And Kofoid able to finish in the 3rd spot. He had about a 8-minute interview in Victory Lane, pulled his Sammy Swindell, and we were joking about that in the booth. But great run for Buddy Kofoid.
Yeah, it's tough to go from Eagle of all places to Knoxville and translate speed like that, but that just proves that their stuff's together really well, and him and his crew chief are really clicking. So yeah, I didn't get to hear the 8-minute interview. I
I didn't either. He, once he gets going, he can get going. He's kind of a what you would think is a little unassuming, but once he can give you some good sound bites. And we talked about it when we were previewing the first Outlaw weekend that. He had a hell of a drive in the Nationals, or it may have been the Nationals or the Outlaw weekend last year. And if they could just qualify better, him and Sheldon kind of were the ones we were talking about. Well, he qualified 3rd in his group, just missed out on the dash, finishing 3rd, and went +7 in that feature and was moving forward still. So this is a good time to get hot. Lots of money on the line, and he won the High Bank Nationals once, and probably going to be a favorite because he probably should have had a second one when he blew up a few years ago. Look out for that 83.
Corey Day wins his 2nd career race at the Knoxville Raceway. 2 summers in a row, he has won the Saturday race of the Premier Chevy Dealers Clash. Got out front, got past Brad Sweet, and never looked back. Had a late challenge from David Gravel, who was flying once again. It was just a repeat. Gravel just didn't have enough time. At one point, Gravel went down to the bottom of the track. He even said himself he probably shouldn't have gone down there. He lost a lot of time. But Corey Day, boys, I mean, just unbelievable. The fact, I mean, he's not in this car very often. He's kind of pulling a Larson schedule, if you will. He's garnering a lot of Kyle Larson comparisons. Like, a lot of people are like, this kid's he's looking like Kyle Larson. And he gets out in victory lane and he's like, I don't like making them that close. He's like, I prefer to win by a lot. And between that and his quote, and it's just crazy because that's Corey Day. Like, think about this past week. He bangs the boards at Knoxville. Nobody bangs the boards at Knoxville. He bangs the boards at Knoxville, loses to Tyler Courtney on a photo finish on Saturday. Then he goes to Eagle and he runs great all night. And then he's trying everything he can to pressure Buddy Kofoid. And then he flips it down the back straightaway into the billboards. And then he comes here on Friday, runs well. He goes from 10th to 5th. Again, was flying. They kind of stalled out on Friday. And then you just knew when he got in the dash, you're like, okay, top 8 starting spot. If he can just get it rolling, he's going to have it. We are witnessing a very talented race car driver grow right in front of our eyes, and he's quickly jumped up to, okay, Corey Day could probably win the Nationals.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's fun to watch, but still, I don't know how the hell he does it. But he runs the top so hard, and it seems like he's so out of control, but he never crashes. And it's all him. Like, nobody else is that aggressive on the top and makes it through the corner like that.
Go back and watch the feature. Sorry, Josh, just real quick. Go back and watch the feature and look at, he has the open cockpit. His arms, like, he moves more than anybody. Yeah. And you're like, dude, how does he keep speed up? Like, and he's got a little bit of, like, I think white striping on his arms. So you can see him. I mean, they're just frantically moving.
There's nobody that's more exciting to watch right now, period. No. That's it. And he's 19 years old. It's just crazy, man.
Mr. Rick Hendrick, you already have Kyle Larson. Just give us Corey Day.
Please.
Just give us Corey Day. Let him go full time. Like, he's unbelievable. He is unbelievable. And the fans love him because they see Kyle Larson.
And you see what it meant to him in Victory Lane. Like, he is jacked up. He loves this stuff. Blake, I didn't catch this live, but you said he's banging on the car, coming down the front stretch and stuff too.
He was so fired up. I mean,
I love it.
He's throwing on different hats in Victory Lane. He loves the Sander Engineering boys, and that it's awesome. It is awesome. And in some ways, he's still kind of a mellow guy. He's not like a crazy outlandish guy, but he can talk the talk because he can walk the walk. And I think that's the biggest point of Corey Day right now, that he's just winning. Now, his nickname Payday, let's get rid of that. I don't think that's very good. I said that on my show early. Payday Corey Day, I don't think that's going to work. I just don't think that's a great one.
Let's workshop that one.
Yeah, let's workshop that one. But overall, guys, High Limit and Outlaws, 1-1 this week. Gravel takes 1, Corey Day takes 1. At Knoxville this year, High Limit now has the 2-1 advantage over the Outlaws. So, I don't know. I really felt like Tony was trying to keep track, as the night went on, because he was back and forth texting with Brad Doty, because Brad Doty loves the Outlaws, and he was going back and forth with Brad Doty about, like, well, we got some Outlaw guys here, we got some Knoxville guys here. I don't think you could have. It was never one-sided. We had our Knoxville guys in the showing, we had Outlaws really good, and we had High Limit guys. I don't think there was a true advantage this week by any means, by anyone.
No,
the great equalizer, Knoxville Raceway.
And anyone that didn't enjoy the racing this weekend is not really a race fan. There were 2 badass races in the 410s, and the track prep crew did a great job. I know it was hot as hell on Saturday. To have 2 races like that back to back at Knoxville is super cool. And like I said, anyone that didn't enjoy that is straight up not a race fan.
Yeah, like we were talking about earlier, it was kind of like a mini Cappy weekend, honestly. And I can't say anything else like that you just didn't say, Cade. We're lucky.
Both nights, 25 laps, no cautions. The best races at Knoxville are the ones where we don't have cautions. You have to work through lap traffic. There were people saying that Saturday A was one of the best days they'd seen at Knoxville. And I mean, I love it. I love social media. People were giving Knoxville its flowers, as they always should. I mean, Knoxville is one of the best tracks, but I feel like a lot of times people will always say, yeah, these half miles, they're not great. They don't put on the greatest of shows. It doesn't matter. Knoxville puts on a unreal show pretty much on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
And it was awesome.
If it's caution filled and you have the leader out in clean air, that's one thing. Yeah. But like you said,
some wild restarts.
Yeah. two wire to wire races. Like, you get lost in lap traffic, and at one point gravel gained like almost a second on Corey on Saturday night in one lap. That's how fast stuff can happen, and why this is the best racing that you can ask for, in my opinion.
if Garrett Williamson was not there on the bottom, gravel would have made it really interesting.
We would have had a drag
Four.
race
I don't
again,
know if he would
2
have maybe
weekends in a
gotten
row.
him. Yeah, I don't know if he would have maybe gave him contact, but it was going to be really close. So awesome weekend. If you weren't there, you got to get there for nationals. The crowds were great. Just overall takeaways on the weekend, we have a couple down. Carson Macedo looked better, and obviously he's had a couple success trips here to the Knoxville Raceway. Good to see Carson running well. Josh, you threw that one in there. Still wasn't like top 5 speed, but it's weird to say that the Jason Johnson Racing 41 has not been great at Knoxville the last couple of years. It's felt like.
No, which has been weird because they're multi-time nationals champion with Philip Dietz, as the crew chief on that car, and looked really good on Friday, running fourth. Was outside the top 10 and 11th on Saturday, but just showed the speed and just looked a lot better than we've been seeing here when Carson's been kind of struggling. Honestly, I think he was one of those that maybe he was in the non-qualifiers.
He was in the B. Yeah. Well, okay. He was in the B on Saturday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to see.
Anthony Macri, I put this in. I was very impressed by Anthony Macri. Finishes of 7th and 4th, and he went forward in both nights. I get it. I mean, people look at Anthony and they're like, yeah, it's PA. He wins a lot in PA. But the dude can easily go out and put together good runs on a tour. I think if he had a couple more laps, he probably would have won Eagle on Tuesday night. I mean, he was
could have won Beaver Dam also.
And to see that team have that speed at Knoxville, I feel like Anthony hasn't been great at Knoxville in recent memory. That's awesome to see for Anthony Macri in the 39.
Yeah, it was a great weekend for him. Like you said, everybody kind of, oh yeah, he's fast in PA, but it's cool to see him. Cool to see him at Knoxville have a good weekend like that, and it's just good for the sport when guys like that quote unquote stay on the porch. I know that's a big PA thing, which he doesn't, but I mean, we all know he's fast in PA, and he's proven, especially like after this weekend, he's proven that he can be fast anywhere in the country.
And watch out, he was 6th in the local show at Huset's last week, and had a second with the Outlaws, a second with High Limit. Watch out for him. That guy's rolling. I think he said they pulled down a new car, and I'd say he is liking the way it's driving.
Found something. Josh, you put this one in here. Rico Aber was good on Friday. Showed really good speed. And then Saturday was just kind of mid-pack. I mean, he finished 10th on Saturday, which isn't bad. And you said, Josh, like, whenever someone has been really good at a track and then they kind of get average on a race, people always say, well, Ricky Warner was trying something. Like, he had to be trying something. There's no way. They're just testing around. But you didn't buy it, Josh. I mean, you just said, maybe it's just people get better. April is a good showing, but it's not June in these weather conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think that is an easy talking point when your favorite driver is like, oh, he sucked tonight or whatever, which Rico didn't suck, but it's like, yeah, he must have been trying. This doesn't matter. It's only June. It's like, no, these guys are racing for wins. They're racing for Outlaw wins, money, and Rico doesn't want to run 10th at Knoxville when he was contending for the win, the night before. I think he went out pretty late, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Very late. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. He was very late on Saturday, and the second, or the B group, was just loaded as well. And him and Macedo were, I think, like 2 of the last 3 cars out, and I think that really hurt him. It went to show that Outlaw format can bite guys sometimes. Kind of bit UK. You and Giles were really late and ended up mid-pack in qualifying, and you just did not see him moving forward and like stuck like you usually do in the feature. He got to about that 10th place and just couldn't get going after that.
The track was a little bit different than we've been seeing too. Normally there's like a lane of grip, like pretty much dead center of the corner, and there really wasn't. It was like either run the bottom or run the top or straight up slide a guy. There was not really a super definite middle like we've been seeing. And Rico's always really good at finding moisture. But yeah, when you start back a little bit like that, and there's really 2 lanes, it's hard to get going.
And now, do I think that He is completely ruled out to contend for the Nationals.
No chance.
No, not at all.
Ricky Warner at the Knoxville Nationals. I will
Yeah.
gladly take Avery back. But remember,
Absolutely.
Cade, if someone asks you why you've been struggling a little bit this year, you just tell them we're just trying something.
Yeah, we're just trying stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every week we're trying something.
Kind of fits though, right?
It does. We have been trying
Cade
stuff because
turns
we
around and says,
suck.
Actually, we're really trying some things. We need help.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually are trying things because we suck.
They're not working. Donnie Schatz has work to do before we get to August. And I think Donnie's chances, if you're looking at it from a betting perspective, he's not quite a long shot, but it'd definitely be up there. Donnie finishes P15 both nights, went forward both nights, but just not enough. He had to take a provisional on Friday, came out of the B. Again, as Josh said, he didn't end up in a non-qualifier, so I guess they got better in that aspect. But even the second night, Saturday night, he went out third in his qualifying and still wasn't amazing. Like, I think he ran a 16-1, and you're like, man, I feel like Donnie could be in the 15s, despite not being, in the second, or was in the second group, but 15's got work to do before August.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen him struggle at Knoxville, especially at Knoxville, like he is. It's really sad to see because we all love it when Donnie's.
It is sad to see.
We all love it when Donnie's in Donnie form.
Yeah, I feel like, it's sad, like you said, it's sad, but we're kind of beating a dead horse at this point. But I still will not rule out Donnie at Nationals. Like, magic happens at Knoxville in August, and I think if he goes on a run, I'm really curious to see how the crowd would react to like a really good run from him, like on his prelim or something like that. And we just need him running well at Knoxville, man. It's a much better place when he's running well. I feel like we're saying that all the time now, but it's the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about David Gravel. Very strong week. Quickly jumped right back up, and I'll lead that into our last one. In my opinion, there's 4 guys right now that will have the highest chances to win the Nationals. It's Kyle Larson, David Gravel, Rico Abreu, and Corey Day. I just don't see how it's anyone else. And again, Josh, I always bring it up. Like, Larson ran here twice, or ran here one night in April, and almost beat Rico Abreu. And we're like, okay, cool, he'll be back. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Larson will get it figured out. He's on a rough stretch right now, but when has Larson not been on a rough stretch at random points except 2020? So those 4 guys, head and shoulders as of right now, over the field.
I totally agree. And we did see it at Eagle, like a very uncharacteristic. I get, what did Larson say? There was like something in the fuel tank, or I'm not sure exactly how that happens on a Paul Silva car, but they probably have figured that out and are going to make sure that doesn't happen again. But it's still racing, and stuff can happen. We'll there's always some weird storylines that happen during Nationals, and I am totally on board with you though. I think that those guys have clearly shown when they've raced here, they are the ones to beat, and we're just going to be along for the ride, Cade.
Absolutely. Those 4 are definitely the favorites going into the Nationals. I feel like Larson's the obvious pick. But everybody else, those other 3 are really showing that they can get in there and shake it up given the right circumstances. And I can't wait for August.
I know. So excited.
It's gonna be fun to watch. 410 points did change up a little bit. Austin McCarl now has a 158-point lead over Brian Brown, so something to keep an eye on. Kerry Madsen's back down to 224. He was in the 300s, worth noting. I'll be very curious if Austin and Brian go to the Kings Royal and say Kerry doesn't. Things get interesting. So keep an eye out for that points battle as we roll.
Although
along.
Blake Kerry is a Kings Royal champion, so
yeah, so
that could be one that he also goes out to.
With how he's running,
yeah, for sure.
Like that's I think he'll probably end up going. So
maybe they'll just be like, "Hey guys, we're all 3 going to go out there." And
it's a pack.
We'll just leave. We'll just leave the points as it is.
Till someone pulls the Uno reverse card and stays in Knoxville.
Oh, our truck broke down. We can't make it out that far. We unfortunately will have to turn around. Sorry about it, guys. But our outside of Knoxville recap coming up. Cade's got some words here before we start our outside of Knoxville recap. we're going to talk about outside of Knoxville, guys. We are not just a Knoxville show. Cade, take it away.
Well, the people that think that this is like a national series podcast, the name definitely should change that perspective. But they should be very happy that we have the entire breakdown of the national series that raced this weekend. Yeah, we do little brief runovers of the national tour stuff, but we are not going to go head into heels, do a full breakdown on it, because we'd be sitting here talking for 3.5 hours every week.
And I don't
If
know
you
about
want
y'all,
that, though, if you want that, let us know. Maybe
Yeah.
that's something that we've talked about doing. Maybe not. Leave a comment. If you'd like a national touring series show similar to this one, yeah, let us know. What are you saying,
I'd
Blake?
like to beat the allegations. I do watch every race. Like I even on when I can't watch it live, I will watch it afterwards. Because I have yet to talk about a race on this podcast on our 10 episodes so far that I didn't watch. I mean, because you just don't feel right going against it. And I know, a couple people, it was like, we didn't talk about Buddy and Rico's really hard battle last week at Plymouth or Beaver Dam, wherever it was. But that was, again, it's just kind of how it is. And Kate,
We're not Joe Rogan. We can't have 2.5 or 3 hour long episodes. Like, that's a lot.
Kate, how do you spell Larson's last name, Kate?
Larson, S-O-N.
Just wanted to check. High Limit went to Tuesday, or High Limit was on Tuesday night at Eagle Raceway. $55,555 on the line. If you didn't know that, Tony Laporta said it, I think, 18,000 times. He might have said it 55,555 times. It was a wild night. Eagle's awesome. It is so good. If I didn't have something going on, we were going to go. We were going to road trip there. Buddy Kofoid holds off Corey Day, and really Anthony Macri in late going. We talked about it. Corey Day had a little bit of contact with Buddy early, and just kind of got caught on the fence after something broke and flipped out of the ballpark. He was a good sport about it. Said he was just trying a little too hard, but leads every lap. Buddy leads every single lap, and he never had a single lap where Corey Day was not on his tail. And eventually, Reitzel got moving. Reitzel got up to third. Anthony Macri got up to second. Good win for Buddy Kofoid, and I know the Outlaws probably wanted that one bad. I mean, they knew they needed one, or else High Limit was going to keep talking. But Eagle's awesome, so good.
That's where the stat sheet lies, and you're like, oh well, yep, my buddy just let it all and never was challenged. But no, we've already talked. I mean, Corey Day is so fun to watch, and my God, he was just doing everything he could to get by Buddy, and I think he had a car that could win, but ended up out of the park.
Yeah, that sucks too. It was going to be a nail biter there coming to the end. And Macri really stepped up and kind of filled in Corey Day's spot there at the end of that race. It was pretty eventful, and Eagle is one hell of a racetrack for sprint cars. Anybody that's in that area and hasn't had the chance to make it there, definitely go there for even like the weekly IMCA stuff is just that track is so badass.
We need more national tours there, please.
Well,
Absolutely.
and I was going to say we need it longer. Like it's called, and that a couple of people were saying that, like, why is it called the Nationals? Like Eagle Nationals, aren't Nationals supposed to be days long? I wouldn't. You can go 3 days. Like make it 3 days. And yes, it's cool for a Tuesday night, but man, that track is just so good. It's like,
and the
give 'em a
fans
3-day week.
show the F up.
Yes,
like
they
that
do.
place is always
the drone
so
shots,
packed.
the parking lots are insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jared with Ascent Media, man, his drone shots are just crazy. I remember when I think it was the first High Limit race there, just was incredible, and it just looks so badass.
Did y'all see the drone shot that Outlaws put out where they went high above Knoxville during the light show, and it showed the light show around it? So cool, so cool. Unfortunately, on Saturday night, our music did not work with our light show, though, so it was just the light show and there was no music. Ironically, it works for.
Well, you got to get Johnny on the guitar and you and Tony singing up there. It would have been hell of a show.
We give Johnny the aux, and it's like, ooh. But It's just one of those things. Just wanted to quickly touch on it. The NARC 410 series has been having their fastest 5 days of racing. James McFadden is back on U.S. soil, and he's kicking everybody's butt. I mean, he's
That's
in the
putting it
Tarleton
nicely.
21. He's in the Tarleton 21 that Tanner Holmes was in. Tanner will get back in it in October. But James McFadden has won 3 out of the first 4 races in then the 5 days. They're racing tonight. Obviously, they're probably just started, so they're kind of on hot laps and whatnot. Wins at Southern Oregon, Douglas County, and Willamette Speedway. He was 6th at Cottage Grove, but he was one of the hardest chargers there at Grays Harbor tonight. What's crazy is like these are tracks he's never been to. And usually you're like, you get in a car and you're like, shake it down. You haven't worked with these guys often. But J-Mac has hopped in, Cade, and he hasn't skipped a beat. And we miss him. We've missed him here on the U.S. soil, but he's been kicking it. He said he hasn't been in a sprint car in a couple months.
Yeah, it's crazy just how much he can adapt to different racetracks. And you saw it when he was on the national tours too. It's just crazy. Like you look at the past couple of years of what Justin Sanders has done out there, and J-Mac is just like not even quietly. He's just like
he came in and was kicking Justin.
He's just shutting him up.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think we talked about it with Garrett, in our first episode. When you're out on the road with these guys and the level that you're at to just run in the top 10 or racing for your life in 15th, something like that. When you go back to your local shows, it just shows how much more speed you have to carry. Like you said, he comes back here after not being in a sprint car for a while and just kicks everybody's ass.
The Douglas County race, like he came out of nowhere. Like halfway through the race, the car just came to life. He blew by Justin Sanders, and in Victory Lane, Justin Sanders didn't know what to say. He's like, he's like, I really don't know what happened. He slid me and he was gone.
Talk about one of the best dudes in the pits too. Like, I respect the hell out of a guy that's like, I'm in a successful situation, running on a national tour, doing well as well, also winning races, but I want to have time with my family and my young kid, and that's what he's doing. So good for him, and it's cool that he's back. It's going to be a fun summer getting to watch him behind the wheel of a sprint car, because we've already seen what he's doing. What else can that car do?
He's shoeied already now 3 times. The first night he shoeied in his right foot, and then he had to switch to his left because his right foot still was damp from the night before. Crazy, awesome, really cool for James.
A little gross, but still, it's
that is one of the most disgusting things that I've ever seen in my life.
I tell you what, though, if y'all don't watch NARC After Dark, watch NARC. NARC is so fun to watch. Our guest this week, Gio Scelzi, a 2-time NARC champion. They are no joke out there. Justin Sanders came to Knoxville a couple of years ago for Swindell and ran really well. So, I mean, just really cool to see those guys. All right, so we're going to talk Huset's, just a little bit of a preview here for the Huset's High Bank Nationals. I kind of want to do what we did last week. We picked 3 drivers and roll with it.
What's going on at Huset's, Blake?
We're doing our Houston Nights podcast. We are really excited. Josh and I are going to be there Saturday night. We're going to be down doing videos and stuff, maybe try to get a couple interviews. It's just going to be Josh and I. We're just going to hang out. We're going to really take in the experience, talk to drivers, and really experience the Houston High Bank Nationals, and what they've done is awesome. And then we'll be back here Sunday night and talk it all with Cade, kind of recap everything. But be on the lookout. We are going to have a lot for Houston Nights. Josh, you can speak on a little bit more of that if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. We're going to do that. We're also going to be working with Connor at Always Race Day a little bit throughout that weekend also. And Blake, you've never been, right? This your first time?
I've never been to Houston, no.
Yeah, so it's badass. That place, when they nail it, and the racing there is phenomenal. And I'm excited, man. Like the reception when we announced the Houston's Nights little one-off special was really cool. And even just from the show also, I meant to say this at the top. Thank you for the nice words. Like I've had a couple more people, come up to me at the track, and I'm really happy that people are enjoying this, because we keep saying it. I'm enjoying the hell out of making it with you guys, and talking racing is always fun. And wish Cade, you had a scare with the doggo, and thankfully it's doing great. We can confirm that. We had Blake got attacked by the dogs last night, but really wanted Cade to come up with us, but he's going to be a good dog dad. But it should be a lot of fun.
You mentioned Cade. It's ironic. I had 2 people this weekend come up to me and be like, yeah, the show's great. Wish Cade would run better so we could get some better stuff to talk about.
Damn, I say it every week, dude.
I was like, dang.
I know this.
I was like, hey, we're saying the same thing. We tell them every week. We're like, dude, you're gonna ruin the show. I mean, it's
Love you, Cade.
The funniest thing that I probably need to get out there is that I am the hardest critic on my own self.
Oh yeah, people
and
need to know that.
nothing anybody says to me is going to rattle my cage because I've already said it to myself 10 times.
Yeah.
Can
I
attest.
just don't want to. Some people are like, just don't want to turn into what Corey LaJoy had with like his Stacking Pennies podcast. He runs 38th every week, and you're like, cool, we get to listen to this guy on a podcast talking about being 38th. But
Well, at least Cade's won something in his career. Anyway.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. Very true. Also, I mean, we can't give anything out, but stay tuned. Like Josh said, we have got big news. Like, I'm not holding back. We got big news coming up here possibly this week. So keep an eye out. We have got a really cool announcement coming up, so stay tuned. And you're going.
I love announcements of announcements, but for real, I'm stoked.
Yeah, it is going to be really fun. Just recapping our Knoxville picks because we're going to do it for Houston's here in a second. Josh picked Corey Day, Austin McCarl, and Logan Schuchart. Day finished 5th and 1st. McCarl had an 8th and 13th. Schuchart had a 12th and 12th. Cade picked Rico, Tyler Courtney, and Brad Sweet. Rico had a 3rd and a 10th. Courtney had a 9th and a 17th. And Brad Sweet had a 10th and a 5th. I had Ryan Timms, David Gravel, and Aaron Reitzel. Timms went 14th and 6th. Gravel went 1st and 2nd. And Reitzel went 16th in the C main on Friday night. And then 9th on his Saturday night feature. So, all right, gentlemen, I'll type it here into the doc. We get 3 picks for the Houston High Bank Nationals. Again, same thing. Probably go with most everybody for High Limit, and them are going to be there. Tanner Thorson was not here this week, but I'm pretty sure Tanner Thorson will be there this week. Kyle Larson is now entered for all 4 days. Christopher Bell will be here for 2, just the hustle. So 3 picks, doesn't have to be I guess we can assume one of them will be a High Banks champion in the hustle and whatnot. But let's just keep it as it is. Josh, Cade, and myself. I'll go last again. That's okay.
I feel like you should switch it up. I think
you
should
want to
go
switch
first.
it up?
Yeah, you
You should go first.
Okay. Well, he's hot. I'm going to take Buddy Kofoid. I think that was an easy pick. Obviously could be a 2-time champion. He's our defending champion. I think Buddy Kofoid will be really tough to beat here this week.
Who's going next?
Go ahead, Cade.
You. Yep.
I'll take the freebie, Kyle Larson. How the hell do you not take Kyle Larson at a bull ring like that?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Larson has not been amazing at Houston's. Josh, I think I'm in I think he's
you're definitely
tried,
right.
Remember.
Yeah, I
You're
think
definitely
he's
right.
tried the High Bank Nationals the last couple of years, and he doesn't even usually make it to Friday or Saturday because it's either a wreck or they're just so slow. It's a good pick.
Nobody tears some shit up.
Yeah, and he can turn it around. It's Paul Silva, but Houston's has not been kind to Kyle. I don't even know if he's won at Houston's. He probably has, but it's like I think he won during that COVID year, 2020.
The COVID year when they blew about 80 tires, right?
Yeah.
Was that the time?
Yeah, I think that was it. But Larson's a good pick. I just last couple of years been a little off. But
I mean, you got to pick the guy that has freaking Houston's on the car. It's David Gravel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are we going to snake this, or are we going back to you, Blake? Because I hope
we didn't snake it last week, buddy boy. What are we doing?
We're just making up rules as we go.
Yeah, we are.
Sounds familiar.
What's your pick then, Blake?
Anthony Macri.
Okay.
Yeah, it's his track. It's his type of track. He's won a local show here. I think Anthony Macri easily. And the run he's on, I think he'd be one to go. Cade?
Oh, I'll take Kyle Larson, Corey Day. Who else do you want to take? Freaking Doug Wolfgang, maybe? Steve Kinzer?
Jeez. Sue me. I'm going to go Rico Abreu. Rico's been kind of on a mission lately, and I feel like Houston's is really a Rico-style track. Yeah, I look for the 24 to be fast, and that's my number. Well, used to be. It's 24H now, I guess.
You have an H, yeah.
The bastard child.
I will take Logan Schuchart for my second pick.
Someone want to type that in the doc.
Oh, I got you, Blake.
Sheldon Hodgeshield. I just won. I hate to say it. I just won. I had one pick. I have unreal picks. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Unreal picks. There's an easy top 10 pick waiting if one of y'all want to take it.
I'll let you go, Josh. Go ahead.
Ryan Timms.
All right. Well, I ironically wasn't thinking of that one, but I think, yeah, that's a good one.
I'm going to go Carson Macedo.
Really?
I waffled on him.
Nobody took Kerry. I thought
Kerry,
for sure
Kerry was. That's who I figured you were talking about.
That's who I was leaning towards. Then I saw Hod's name, but yeah, Kerry B. He's not there tonight, but yeah.
He picked Carson. Blake, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
What are you doing?
Blake is on one right now. Holy. Oh, you guys give me hell about stuff. Jeez. It was a late night. It was a late night.
Cut. we'll cut that out.
Oh, come on.
All right, so our picks are: I'm going Buddy Kofoid, Anthony Macri, Sheldon Haudenshield. Cade's going Kyle Larson, Rico Abreu, and Carson Macedo. And Josh is going David Gravel, Logan Schuchart, Ryan Timms. I'm going Anthony Mack, according to Cade. Did he delete the I? Looks like Anthony Macker. But
no, I put the R in there. You didn't have the I.
Oh my God. Anthony Macy.
Okay, Kate Hyde.
Yeah.
Holy cow, let's jump into our interview. Giovanni Scelzi joined the show. Again, it was a little bit of a shorter one. We got cut off by the lights, but good to chat with Gio Scelzi. This was after his Friday performance of 1st to 6th. 6th place finish, still a good run for him. Great chat here with Giovanni Scelzi. Let's head to that. Giovanni Scelzi joins the Knoxville Knights podcast here after night one of the Premier Chevy Dealers Clash. Gio, thanks for joining us. Connor kind of mentioned it on the broadcast. He called you a local. He called you an Iowa boy. And people always go after us because you're from Fresno, California. I want to start with that. When you were 9 years old, you tore up the micro scene in California. As a 9-year-old winning all those races, what was that like? Because did you just go home and you're like, I'm going to win every single week?
Yeah, I mean, when you're that young, I don't think you probably don't get nervous very often, I feel like, and you kind of just take every night as a new night and not worry about it so much. So if I could go back to my 9-year-old brain, sometimes I would like to do that. But no, I mean, anytime you can have success at a young age, I think you expect success throughout your whole life. So struggling obviously is a tough pill to swallow, but you race out here long enough, you figure out how to kind of deal with it.
Yeah.
Speaking about being young and having success, you're, I think, still the youngest 410 winner here.
By 6 days. I looked it up. 6 days.
I think I saw like 17 years and like 8 months or something like that. You were with Bernie. It was an all-star race. What do you remember from that night, and what was that night like?
Yeah, it was 2019, I think. Came here for the first time in 2018. Had an awesome nationals, probably better than I should have. I feel like had a really good prelim. Got close a couple times 2018 at local shows to winning, and then was really fast in 19 and won that all-star show. So, it's one of those things where, when you win for the first time, you're not really expecting it, I guess. I mean, you expect to be successful every night, but to kind of break through and win, I think we won by quite a bit that night. To win by that much is cool against a tough field like the All-Stars and local guys here as well. So any time I won with Bernie was really cool, being that young and working on the car, and it just was such a reward at the end of the night, having to do the work and build the cars myself with Bernie as well. And to get that, finished off and like I said, reward at the end of the night was really cool.
I want to get to Bernie in a sec, but touching on that, working on the cars, and how instrumental was that to kind of coming up in the sport? Because you hear guys I don't know, it just seems like the more guys work on the cars, it tends to translate to success.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does in my opinion. I feel like, at a young age, I almost kind of took a step back when I was 12, 13 years old. My brother started racing sprint cars. We only had one trailer. So sprint car rig went, and I went with the sprint car trailer and worked on my brother's car. So learned there and wanted to race as well, obviously. And then we got another rig for the sprint car, and I got to race on my own, sort of. So, it was kind of if you build the race cars, you get to race. So having that knowledge and now translating to be able to point the crew chief in a certain direction to fix something on the car. If we get in a pinch, I can help them guys. So, yeah, Bernie obviously, kind of got me started, obviously, in sprint car racing and on the big stage, I feel like. So, anyone that knows Bernie knows kind of how it is. But end of 2017, I believe, I had some races lined up with Paul Silva to race Outlaw shows. And my brother was like, hey, I know Bernie, he wants you to drive for him. I'm like, all right, cool. I've never met this guy before. So we're at the PRI show, and the Westin Hotel is connected to the convention center. So we're walking, to my hotel room, and Tom's like, hey, that's Bernie. So, hey, Bernie, how are you? Hey, do you want to run a couple races in my car this year? I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. Awesome. That was it. So I'm like, so that's it? Like, so obviously Silva's deal didn't work out, and Bernie's like, hey, do you want to come run the Mansfield 100 grand to win race? I'm like, yeah, all right, let's do it. So, hey, man, car's ready to go. You just got to put your seat in and race. So he bought a brand new trailer that year. Walked in the shop, the car's on stands, no rear end, no front end, just put a motor in it. The trailer is completely empty. So I get there on like a Wednesday, we thrash to get stuff done. And I remember the race started on, I think Thursday was a practice day or Wednesday was a practice day, and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. He's like, all right, everyone stop. Grab what you think we'll need for the weekend and put it in a cardboard box, put it in the trailer. Put it in the trailer, and then we left. So that's, Bernie's known as a last minute guy, but it was cool to kind of take charge of a team and be able to organize it how you want to.
Kind of taking a step back, you were talking about that first year with Bernie, you had a pretty stellar nationals and a good prelim night. You've had a lot of those in the past couple of years. Just kind of explain, I guess what I'm trying to get at is like your mentality and how you deal with pressure seems to be better than like your regular outlaw shows here. Kind of explain why, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, anytime you roll in here for a local show or an outlaw show or a nationals, pressure's always high. And the way Knoxville's format is with the high invert and the heat races and absolutely having to transfer through your heat races is crucial. I mean, you can qualify 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. If you make it through your heat race, you're going to be in the first 4 rows of the feature. So, I don't know. It's just a race I really want to win. And when I feel like I put a lot of time into, and I feel like I treat every race like Knoxville Nationals, but when you're in the grind and you're racing 80, 90 times a year, it does get tough to have that level of intensity at a normal show too.
You've been in a lot of different cars, obviously, your micro career, and then you raced ARCA a little bit, got a win there, and then you're a USAC winner. So explain, a lot of these guys, they always say like Kyle Larson could just hop in a car and just roll with it. Now you've kind of found your home in sprint car racing. What was that? Because that all happened pretty quick. 2019, 2020, you were in everything. Kind of explain that time period. You were successful, but what did it finally end up on sprint cars?
Yeah, I mean, the 2020 year, kind of was hard for everyone, I feel like. And ran some midget stuff for Toyota at the end of 2019 with Chili Bowl and the fall races with the USAC stuff in California. And aspirations to go pavement, obviously, and got an opportunity with Bill McAnally racing to run the ARCA West schedule. And just a lot of things were changing. The K&N series went away, turned into ARCA West and ARCA East, and then the standard ARCA series. So things were changing for those teams as well, and had a lot of stuff lined up going into 2020. And then, when COVID hit, all the testing went away for truck teams and ARCA teams, and it just kind of was... I think we got 5 to 10 minutes of practice, which was qualifying, and then you race. So
that's it.
No excuse really. Like I feel like I just, when I found myself in the fall of 2020 watching Dirt Vision on my phone while I'm at an ARCA race, I just kind of made the decision like, man, this isn't really what I want to do and where I want to be. So called Toyota and said, hey man, I'm just going to go race sprint cars, which obviously KCB came around at the time, and they were super receptive. Like Andy Graves was very, very cool about it. And we ended up running the first Toyota 410 engine. So really wish I would have won that local show here because I would have been the first Toyota winner, but is what it is. But it was a lot. But I think something I appreciate is, running the same car for the last 5 years where the steering's the same, the seat's exactly the same, the pedals are the same, you're in the same trailer. Like I haven't had a race bag in 5 years, which going to Australia, it was weird packing a race bag. It's like, man, all my stuff's in my cabinet. Can I just bring my cabinet with me? But I'm fortunate to have such a good group of guys behind me that I feel like believe in me and want to see me do well on the racetrack as well as off the racetrack.
Right.
Going back a little bit to the Nationals, you've had a taste now of success at the Nationals and been really close. What was that like? Was it a little bit of a whirlwind experience? Because were you on Wednesday?
Yeah.
You were Wednesday.
Yep.
So you had a couple days to maybe party it up a little bit and celebrate that win. And what was that entire week like? Kind of walk us through what that win on your prelim night was, and then kind of waiting, until the showtime on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it starts with Peevely, right? You get done with Peevely on Saturday, you run 55 laps, and you drive 5 hours home. I drop the t-shirt trailer off here when the sun's coming up, halfway fall asleep, and then drive home to Grimes and go to bed for 2 or 3 hours and come back and race Cappy. So that's part of the reason we don't race Oski, just because it's so much that week. And I like racing Wednesday because ideally if you lock in, you get 2 days off. So I don't think I got that drunk Wednesday night. I was at Dingus, obviously, because you have to go to Dingus, but I tried to buy 500 shots, but the lady got mad at me, so I was like, just 50, so we gave them all out. It was an awesome night. It was cool. I mean, you have to soak those moments in when you're able to do it. So Saturday night, I was very drunk. I think I sat at Lasoski's camper in 3 and 4 until 5 or 6 in the morning. My ass was planted to the seat. So, I mean, to talk to him, he's won this race 4 times. He's lost this race 100 times. Yeah. So, was refreshing kind of to be able to talk to someone that understands what I was feeling at that point. So, it was a whirlwind of a week for sure, and one I hope we can kind of recreate.
And now going through that, do you feel like you maybe have a different perspective now coming into this year, like what it takes now to take that extra step to go out there and beat Larson, I guess, now back-to-back winner?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's easy to say, hey, how do I win Saturday? But you have to get through Wednesday first. So I feel like qualifying in that 11th to 16th spot where you start 6th in your heat race, you can transfer through. I mean, obviously being high point guy is ideal where you go 8th to 4th in your heat race, but Wednesday is typically a little bit wetter than Thursday is. So the racing and the feature, I feel like kind of narrows up, and you have to be in the inverse to be able to go forward. I've missed it before and tried to truck forward in the prelim feature and ended up being on the front row for B main. So man, starting 20th here is not fun on Saturday night. I mean, you push so hard the first 25, you almost gas yourself and wear your stuff out to not see how you are at the end. So obviously, I think I was third or fourth at the break this last year. I felt like I had a pretty good shot to win, got to second, and ended up second. So Larson's obviously super fast, and gravel was good tonight. So it's going to be a mixture of guys that are successful this year.
And we've talked on our show a little bit about the Outlaw format. Obviously, if you qualify well, you start well in your heat race. Do you think that can kind of get you in the mode that you need to be in come Nationals time because of how important qualifying is, or is that just kind of is what it is at this point?
It's hard to say. I mean, Nationals format is so much different anywhere else, and you go into that week thinking, hey, this is kind of how I have to do it. So, I mean, Cappy's is I think it's invert 4, take 3, so it's a pretty high stress program when you qualify good. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just you put Knoxville. It's a week you circle on your calendar at the beginning of every year. So these races, the April show, Cappy, are obviously the ones where you warm up and try and get ready for August.
Sure.
While we're on the topic of long races, so Nationals is 50 laps here. You come straight from a 55 lapper at Peevely. How much different is that? Because I know Peevely's a pretty physically demanding joint, and this place is a lot more mental. But when you're up on the curb, it can still be really physical too. So. How different is that going back-to-back weekends too?
I mean, personally, I kind of wish it was 30. I feel like with 50, obviously, it's really 2 races.
Yep.
I mean, you can push really as hard as you want at the beginning, new tires, and push as hard as you want again. So, obviously, Larson didn't change tires, I don't think.
I don't think so.
Either of them. I know he didn't change his right rear, so
tires.
maybe I'm doing something wrong, the wrong way. But, yeah, I don't know. It's easy to blister your tires here, especially when it gets slick. So. I mean, Peevely's a whole different animal. Like they've changed Peevely a bit this last year, new owners, I believe, and it's kind of back to normal slick wide Peevely. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, you are really looking at the races, 2 separate races. You got to put yourself in position and not lose too many spots there the first 25 and really go to the last 25.
You won the first ever high limit race. They can always say an Outlaw won the first high limit race. That was probably one of the biggest wins of your career, money-wise. Explain that whole event, because there was a lot of unknowns, and even now the format has changed over and over again. What do you remember from that night? I think it was Lakeside. Is that where it was?
Yep.
What do you remember from that night? And what a statement to jump out and say, now you're a winner.
Yeah, I mean, the choose cone
that
paid
was
me $50,000 more. So at the driver's meeting, obviously new series, new officials and stuff, and he rattles through the deal, and he's like, all right, we're going to have a choose cone, double file restarts, pick high or low. All right, everybody good? Yep. So everyone walks away. I'm like, I don't watch NASCAR. I don't know. I know what it is, but I don't understand how it works. So I'm like, hey, if I'm in 6th, first 5 cars choose the bottom. I choose the outside, I start second. He goes, yep. I said, everyone must have known that. So I don't know. I'm going to go with it. So in the feature, I think I was restarting 7th or something, and it goes bottom, top, and I'm like, okay, well, let's go to the bottom. So I restarted 3rd when I was really in 7th. So when we lined up, I think it was Donnie was in front of me. He kind of goes back to the bottom, like I messed up, like I need to go to the bottom, and they said, nope, go back to the top. So I think guys wanted to start on the top, obviously, but I don't think they understood kind of how it worked. But I guess kudos to me for verifying.
Hey, you listen to the rules. So
yes,
right
exactly.
You're a 10-time World of Outlaw winner. Does any stand out to you?
Williams Grove was a cool one.
Prelim night, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
That was your first one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
26.
Yeah. I mean, all of them are obviously super tough to win, and a night like tonight where you start in the pole and run 6 shows you how difficult it is to close the deal and win a race. But winning 2 at Beaver Dam was cool to win twice at the same place. Yeah. Cotton Bowl was cool. Kennedale was really cool to, really a dog shit racetrack where rubbered on lap 1, but to not make a dumb mistake and not press too hard and fall out of the rubber. But I mean, any of them are tough to come by. Alex Neaton, the Outlaw PR guy, he asked me, he's like, hey, how many races have you won at Knoxville? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I can't remember. Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to think. I'm like this, and like I'm going like year by year. I'm like, I don't remember, and it kind of sucks. It's like you get so caught up in what's next, not to kind of step back and see what you've done. And you don't want to read your own press clippings, obviously, but it's cool to kind of take a step back and think about stuff like that.
So, not trying to stir shit or anything, but obviously we have 2 series, 2 national tours. Do you feel like that has watered down things at all? Or when you guys kind of like this weekend and the last couple weeks, actually, we've seen High Limit and Outlaws back together. Can you tell a difference not racing with those guys all the time?
I think my brother said it the best to me. He said it's harder to run top 10 at the High Limit show, but it's harder to win a Outlaw show. Which really, I mean, when you go to a track where there's 30 cars with an Outlaw show, there's 8 of us that are kind of always migrate our way to the top 8 spots, shuffled in whatever order. So, I mean, has it watered it down? You don't have Brad Sweet. I mean, really, Brad is really the only one I feel like of the top guys that has left the Outlaw so far. So, I don't know. I mean, High Limit's obviously a legit series. They're here to stay, I feel like. So I don't really truly feel like there's enough room for 2 national series. Maybe room's not the right word. I mean, obviously both of our stands are packed. Like, we get great crowds and we're both doing well, I feel like. But I feel like there needs to be, and there is, there's power struggle in Ohio and PA and stuff for the All-Stars to come back. And for a series that is a regional series, which is a stepping stone for teams to say, hey, I'm local Knoxville. Okay, we're going to go on the road for a couple years, run the All-Stars, and then run the Outlaws. So it blows me away how teams have found the money to go race 100 times a year. It seems like, man, we can run an All-Star budget, and they're firing off on the High Limit. So I don't know. I know if we were to run High Limit, we would probably have a 110 race schedule because there's no restrictions, so you can race wherever you want.
Is that appealing to you, to race that much?
I mean, we would have to buy a couple more engines, which obviously, costs more, and then you don't get tow money or point money with the Outlaws, obviously, or pit passes, and that stuff adds up. So, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Had conversations with Brad and those guys, and kind of just saw their business plan and what they want to do, and I think we kind of came to the same conclusion that most of the Outlaws guys came to. It just doesn't. There's almost too many unknowns, I feel like, and they, like I said, they're a legit series. They're here to stay, but it just don't feel like it was the right fit for us yet.
And like running, it seems like a lot of racing. Like, have you felt like burnout?
No. Nope. I mean, there's nothing I want to do more right now than get back in their car and race. So it's what I signed up for. I feel like this year got done racing at Charlotte and left December 20th, I believe, to go to Australia. Came back January something and went right to Volusia. So if I could race every day, I would do it. So I'm lucky to not have kids and be able to bring my girlfriend with me and have my family essentially with me on the road.
Cool. Now, when you unload and you have to compete with that guy in the 2 car, what's it like knowing that the level that Gravel's on right now and what it's going to take to knock him off of his throne? Yeah,
I mean, he's good right now, obviously, but he's shown not really shown, but he struggled a bit. They blew up at Plymouth, which was out of his control, obviously, and I mean, that's the thing. When you're fast, things go your way. When you struggle, you draw an 8 and you get a shit in the stick. So I think right now we're probably supposed to struggle. Draw 8s, and we're not as good as we need to be right now, so shit's going to get harder. So I feel like this stretch we're on is probably the worst it's going to get. I feel like we've had good runs. We've been up front. We've won a race, but this is the time you really have to dig your heels in and get your shit together.
Yeah. Well, they turned the lights out on us, so maybe that's...
Is that it?
That's our sign.
Appreciate the time, Gio.
No worries.
Yeah, thanks.
You going to say something, Blake?
No, I was just going to say thanks for joining us.
No problem. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming out. All right.
Good. The lights are back on. That was a fun but short chat with Gio. He is a talker, man. We can get some. I wish we could have went a little bit longer with him because he's got some stories, and those Scelzi boys, they definitely know how to tell some stories.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was good to chat with him. Being in Iowa, I mean, he lives in Iowa. Him and I were talking about Grimes. You guys were talking about golf with him in Iowa before we started. Really down-to-earth guy, and he was hard on himself. I mean, he wasn't very happy after Friday night, and he knows he wants to be better, and he's been good at Knoxville, and good chat with him.
Yeah, I was a little nervous that we were going to have kind of a mellow interview with him, and it actually turned out to be very, very good. And like you guys said, wish we could have went longer, but somebody shut the lights out on us.
No, thanks to Gio again, and again a shout out to him and what the KCP racing team did. They had a special event, before the races on Saturday, and a ton of people there, and hopefully a lot of those people can come back and visit us on a local show and get some more fans made. I saw a lot of pictures of kids and videos of kids in the stands. You'll love to see it. We do this because we love sprint car racing and Knoxville Raceway, and try to spread the gospel with everybody. So if you would want to help us spread the gospel, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, and give us a a 5-star rating. That's what we call a good segue right there, boys.
Hey.
If you want to follow us, Cade, Blake, and I, we're on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. I'm at Josh_Gerlach. He's at Cade Higday, and Blake is at Blake_Walker8. We're also at Knoxville Knights with no O. And then otherwise search for at Knoxville Knights everywhere else on all the socials. Looking forward to the Huset's Nights special. Gonna have to practice that so I don't screw that up when we're talking up in Brandon, South Dakota. It's gonna be a hot one. So make sure you guys, if you're going, start hydrating early in the week, because I think we might be pushing 100 on Saturday if the forecast doesn't change.
Drinking beer is not hydrating.
No, it is not.
It's mostly water.
There is water in that,
Don't
but
be
yeah.
dumb.
Yeah, pack some of Cade's favorite Pedialyte and get yourself ready to rock. And the next week we will be back on our Knoxville Nights stuff. That will be Farm Bureau night on Saturday, June 28th. But yeah, what's up next is the High Bank Hustle Wednesday and Thursday, and then the High Bank Nationals Friday and Saturday. So that's about it, everybody. So thanks for watching and listening. We will see you next week.